Hi, it's me again. Happy Tuesday to you. I've got 3 questions for you today that you can ask. It's been coming up in conversation today with some of my clients around how we can return to trust when the plates literally fall down around you. And one of the things that was coming up for hi Craig, nice to see you. One of the conversations I want to talk about is how we can come back alive again when we've been betrayed, or in my client's case today, been... Okay, I'm back again. It's a weak connection. But yeah, so I had a client today whose whole world just got kind of shook up, and she was handed divorce papers from her husband out of nowhere. He just kind of said he's done. He's met somebody else, and he was done, and she was kind of left reeling from the shock of it. Hi Laura, nice to see you. Nice to see you. So if you're finding yourself in a place right now where your whole world is kind of just being rocked to the core, like my client today, I said to her, you know, we really have to realize that we're like these little birds that are constantly being thrown out of the nest, and that it can be very challenging in moments like this where we forget to trust, and we need to get reminded. Back again. This is a very strange connection, but sometimes we don't know, you know, why life throws us curveballs, and we don't know the how. But I'm here to tell you that you don't need to know the how. We just need to return to trust and just allow yourself to be in this space, and the space that I hold for my clients, to really guide them back to anchoring into the trust that's always been there. And we just need to learn to listen to that voice that knows what's best for us. And sometimes the world does take things away from us. As I said to my client this morning, it might not be what you want or that you think you deserve, and you didn't see it coming. And she's saying, how can I ever trust again? And she's just feeling so hurt and so betrayed in all of this. And it's not just about her. She's got 2 little children that she has to try and make some sense and have some stability in what's going to change in their life too. And I love James Allen, who says it really, really well, and a beautiful friend of mine reminded me of this myself for me yesterday. And he says that spirit rises on command, and when it does, the gods are always ready to obey. And those include the gods of fear and doubt and distrust and hurt and shame and abandonment, and all those other sort of low vibrational patterns that we have that really take us out of following the voice of our soul. And you just got to remember, your soul trusts you. And this is the work of what I offer in my healing trust process, where I want to remind my clients and give you back that empowerment of trusting that life is working for you, even in the most painful ways. Life is always working through you and wants you to come back to your heart and return you to trust. Hi Neelam. Hi Anastasia. What a beautiful name. So just remember that when the world takes things away from you, it's doing that so that you can see that you're complete and perfect and infinite and deeply connected without that person or the money or the status or your job position or your PhD. You're trying to hold a plate and a drink and a handbag in one hand. Wouldn't you go over to them and Okay, so I'm back. I'm just moving around to see if I can get a bit of connection here. So, I was saying before I got rudely interrupted by the internet that, it's like if Okay, so I'm going to give this one last try. So, you'd go up to that person and you would offer to take some of the load. You'd offer to help them, wouldn't you? You'd say, "Come, let me help you with that," and they would be so totally relieved that you offered, and that they weren't alone, and you'd be supporting them. And this really is what life is doing all the time. And we're saying, no, I can't receive, or I have to do it on my own, or no, I can't let you in, and I don't want your help because then I'll be needy, and then I'll be depending on somebody, and I won't be independent anymore, or your position to be right would be threatened. Instead of just sort of saying, you know what, thank you so much, I will totally receive that you've got my back. So think about it. If you're in a position right now where you're afraid, or that your money's running out, you know what your universe does? It says, right, let me just take it all away, like it did in my case, so that we can get back in alignment and attunement that we're always going to be all right. When I lost my home, and I lost my marriage and my health and my life as I knew it 16 years ago, I was incredibly afraid that I could ever trust myself again, because there was a part of my mind that was so in the story of it that wanted me to hold on to the wrongness of all the mistakes that I'd made and the choices that how did I end up in this place where, everything literally went away. So if you're afraid right now of losing your lover, or maybe you're afraid that you're never going to trust yourself to love anyone again because this terrible thing is happening to you, just know that the universe or God or whatever you call it is going to say, you know what, I'll meet you there. I'll make you right. I'll let him leave you. I'll make him go have an affair. And if you're afraid, and you can just acknowledge in that moment that you're afraid to let go, you're afraid of what might happen, you're afraid of what you may lose. When you do that, when you meet it there in trust and love and compassion, then it can go away. So how often in those lowest moments of letting life have at you and undo you, do you actually realize just how much you can trust that you are enough, that you're infinite love and infinite possibility and infinite choice? And how powerful are you after that lowest of lowest things that you didn't even dream was possible? That job that's sucking the life out of you, the partner that's bringing you no joy and making you feel bad about yourself. When it leaves, it opens you up to something so much more. It opens you up because it's your job to let it go and return to trust. And oftentimes, I get it, we can't because we're overwhelmed and we're looking for the how, and we're looking for how to fix it. But when you let go of it, and it leaves you, it opens you up to something more. When that thing goes away, that person goes away, you come back to your heart. You have to trust yourself. And you get to say, oh, there it is. It's now. It's in the moment. Hi, Ingrid. So I want you to try on these 3 questions, especially when you're triggered in relationship, in the crazy making of things right now, so that you can start identifying your own repeating reality and the unresolved trauma and crap that you just keep playing over and over again in a different variation. And maybe that is experiences from your childhood. Maybe your dad was a bully, or maybe your mother withheld love, or you had to... Hi, Simone. It's good. It'll be on a replay. But, this is how we learn to love, through our experiences. And when we get clear on how we learn to love, how we learned to put these coping mechanisms in place, and we can return to trust that we did the best that we could in the moment. When you start to trust that deep down knowing that you are always always loved, that you are love. Then you don't have to keep looking for love and safety and trust outside of you. And you get to create really clear, strong boundaries no matter where you find yourself today. You know, miracles are such a natural expression of love, aren't they? And when you can trust in yourself as your own miracle, I mean, you are miraculous. And fear, as the God, has no part in that when you return to trust and faith and grace and compassion and dogs barking. And you can be with your pain then. You can meet it there and say, you know what, I'm with you. Because it's there to teach you. It's there to grow you. And every minute, every moment in the present moment is the truest expression of love. It's the highest form of love that's going to allow you to go deeper into remembering you're miraculous. So, here are your 3 questions, and you might want to write these down. So, ask yourself, where have I felt like this before? When you feel triggered, or you feel that old familiar fear or doubt or darkness or lack of trust coming up for yourself, just ask yourself, where have I felt like this before? And then ask yourself, who does this feeling or this person that's triggering remind you of? And then ask yourself, why is the way that I'm interacting with this person in this moment of conflict or distrust or suspicion, or maybe you're a little skeptical or cynical? Ask yourself, why is it familiar to you? And then just spend some time in meditation, in morning pages, in writing, to just let your heart speak to that. Hi, Lindsay. And can you fall in love with not knowing? Just trusting that you have everything you need. And in the asking, you're going to get the clarity and the connection and the focus to heal those core wounds through your soul, in the diagnosis, in the divorce, in the betrayal, in the lies, in that place where you feel abandoned. Obstacles are just detours in the right direction. So if you can trust the voice of your heart, the voice of your soul, that it's here to guide you, and you let love come through you, and you just listen to your deep down with the gentleness that you would give to a newborn baby, and you can allow yourself to let that happen in the present moment, then whatever experience you find yourself in is your divine assignment to return to trust. And I'm here to support you. I really, really am. I want you to reach out, take my hand, and let me show you how to use the 7 core principles of the trust process to get you back to loving you and loving whatever arises. Because I know my own experiences that brought me to those places of darkness and depression and loss and grief, that when you can admit you're lost, they are far greater than anything that you can figure out using your mind, because your mind is stuck in acting out what you already know from the story. And we limit our possibilities when we try to get out of those moments and away from pain. When we try and resist pain, when we're feeling lost, we go into reenacting what's happened in the past. We just keep doing the same thing over and over again. And that's the suffering. That is the distrust. Because we're not trusting our souls. We're not listening to our hearts. We're not going deep down and listening to our intuitive voice. And here's the thing. What got you to where you are now isn't going to get you where you need to go. There's something more that wants to come through you. And starting by acknowledging that you don't know is how you're going to come into new information and a new state of awareness and consciousness. And the solution, by trusting that you're going to find a way forward that's totally aligned and in congruence, it's totally attuned to your divine miraculous frequency. And it requires you becoming uncomfortable with uncertainty. It's not easy, but it is simple. And it's much easier when you have someone to support you in this mindlessness of ever expanding your possibilities. So just acknowledge you're lost. That's a great step. That's a great first step, is just to ask for help. And stop trying to ask your mind to give you a reference point, a visible proof of something that you already know. That's where we limit our possibilities, when we're trying to get out of those moments when we do feel lost. Okay? So just remember, that's the addiction. It's the things that we use to drown out the pain, to numb us down, to disconnect, to put heart walls up around us so that we never, ever, ever, ever have to have our expectations broken again. And we feel that in our body. We have to feel it in order to heal it. And it can often become habitual in the body from the thoughts that we have, and then we resist. So resisting the thoughts keeps us there, doesn't it? So if you take time to hear and truly, truly accept your thoughts, listen to your soul that knows like it knows from a place of trust when you ask those 3 questions, I promise you they will leave. And then you're going to feel closer and more connected to trusting yourself, trusting your body, trusting that you're enough. You'll get closer to yourself. That I promise you. And when you feel heard, when your body feels heard, when the people you love feel heard, you'll find you don't need so much external stimulus. When you go deep down and totally trust that you're enough, and accept that where you are is exactly where you need to go, addiction goes away. It all starts with trust. It's the one thing that will change everything when you allow yourself to start feeling that organically in your body and go beyond your mind. You know, go into meditation, get out in nature, go for a walk, stroke your cat, go play with your horse, and have the compassion that you would for a little child. Go dance, go sing, go shout and yell, get angry. But let your heart speak, because you can't change if you don't go inside first. Changing the outside just switches addictions. It's a temporary band-aid, or a plaster as we call it in South Africa. So remember that you are a trusting, kind, loving, compassionate person. And have faith in that, faith in the body, faith in the world, faith in yourself, because you're already there. And all of this just comes from forgetting who you are, that you came in happy. You came here to spread your joy and share what only you have to share with the world. So can you be with that? Can you hold yourself in trusting whatever arises is exactly what you need? Just allow yourself to be touched with the kindness and the gentleness of who you are, and trust. Trust yourself. And ask yourself, what one thing can you do today? And you can type in the comments. What's one action step that you can take from the highest form of love? And I don't mean mentally, but I mean fully encompassing that you are a trustworthy person. That organic trust of you through meditation or quiet time or time in nature, whatever it is for you, just time sitting with your animals. So that you don't have to keep staying in a scenario that you don't like by saying you don't trust that you're going to be taken care of. When you do that, you don't get trusted, and you have no access to your next best thing until you see the thing you're holding on to is the one thing you can trust you need to let go of. Okay? So that's it for today. I'm curious to know what shows up for you when you ask the 3 questions. And just deepen into trusting that you are so worthy of this. You are so worthy of love and enjoyment and adventure and great nurturing relationships. Stop defining your worth based on the old stories that you're not trustworthy. Because if you do, it'll be out of alignment, right? Because you keep saying to yourself that you can't trust yourself. So I see you and I celebrate you. And I trust you to take that one action step today. So type it in the comments. Let me be witness to that. Let me celebrate and support you on. And let miracles work through you, because you are miraculous. All right. Lots of love, people. Mwah.